Hi, welcome to Listen2Riches. Today, I would like to introduce you to Jewish civilization with a subtitle: The Jewish Historical Experience in a Comparative Perspective. Jewish civilization has endured for 4,000 years, and its journey of development remains vibrant. I'm sure many of you have seen the classic film Life is Beautiful, which tells the story of a Jewish father who, to protect his son, turns the hardships of a Nazi concentration camp into a game. This kind of wisdom and optimistic love is truly moving. The Jewish people have always been a mysterious nation to us, with one of the highest numbers of Nobel Prize winners and billionaires in the world. Just like Chinese civilization, Jewish civilization is one of the ancient ones, persisting for 4,000 years without fading away. What's even more astonishing is that, throughout their long history, Jewish people were forced to leave their homeland, wandering far and wide. However, Jewish civilization did not disappear but instead displayed even greater vitality. All of this leaves us in wonder. What are the unknown secrets of Jewish civilization? All your questions can be answered in this book on Jewish civilization. It narrates the origin and development of Jewish civilization, the bitterness of exile, and the challenging journey of rebirth. After reading this book, we will have a comprehensive understanding of Jewish civilization and why it has continued for 4,000 years, unlike other civilizations that might have flickered and faded. For Chinese civilization, Jewish civilization offers profound insights. I believe that after listening, you will have a deeper understanding of Jewish civilization as well. So, why should you read this book to learn about Jewish civilization? Just look at the author's background. The main author of this book is Pan Guang, who serves as the director of the Shanghai Institute for International Studies, the Shanghai Center for Jewish Studies, and the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Research Center, with a shining list of titles. His research focus is on Jewish-Israeli studies, and his major works include Jewish Civilization, The Road to Jewish National Revival, and Jews in China. In 2005, he was appointed as a member of the High-Level Committee for the Alliance of Civilizations by UN Secretary-General Kofi Annan. Now that we've covered the basics of this book and the author's background, let's delve into the content. First, we will focus on the historical origins of Jewish civilization. The Jewish people originated in the ancient Canaan region, which is now part of modern-day Palestine. Their ancestors were the Hebrews, who lived in the city of Ur downstream of the Euphrates River. Around 1900 BC, their leader, Abram, later known as Abraham, led the tribe on a northward migration, crossing the Euphrates River into the Canaan region. The locals referred to them as Hebrews, meaning people who crossed over. Gradually, they became known as Hebrews or Israelites, which is also the origin of the name of the state of Israel. Around the end of 1800 BC, due to a drought, the Hebrews migrated to the Nile Delta in Egypt, where they multiplied and gradually developed into 12 tribes. However, around 1600 BC, the ruling pharaoh of Egypt implemented oppressive policies, making them slaves and subjecting them to humiliation. Under this oppression, the Hebrews' sense of identity continued to grow. Around 1500 BC, the leader of the Hebrews, Moses, led them out of Egypt, passing through the Sinai Peninsula on their way to Canaan. During their journey, Moses initiated a religious movement that laid the foundation for Judaism. To better manage the tribes, Moses reorganized the people and made a covenant with them at the foot of Mount Sinai, known as the Ten Commandments. Afterward, the Hebrews gradually unified and formed a covenant centered on the worship of Yahweh. This Sinai reform had a significant impact on Jewish civilization and marked a pivotal moment. Next, They returned to the Canaan region, but in the following 200 years, the Hebrews engaged in constant conflicts with the local inhabitants, leading to further divisions. In order to confront external threats, the Hebrews' sense of national identity grew rapidly, and they aspired to establish a unified state to resist external foes. In 1025 BC, they elected Saul as the king, initiating a journey to fight for their nation. It was not until the arrival of the heroic and skillful David that external enemies were driven out of Canaan. After defeating these adversaries, David, the king of the Hebrews, established Jerusalem as the capital, which would later become Jerusalem. In 973 BC, David's son Solomon succeeded him, marking the zenith of the Hebrew state. Solomon built a magnificent temple for the worship of Yahweh in Jerusalem, known as the First Temple. From that point onwards, Jerusalem became the most significant holy place for Judaism and the spiritual center of the Jewish people. Hebrew became the dominant language in the Canaan region. However, after 930 BC, the Hebrew kingdom split into two, with the northern and southern dynasties entering the era of the northern and southern kingdoms. In 721 BC, the Assyrian Empire overran the northern Hebrew kingdom and took more than 27,000 people, including the northern kingdom's king and subjects, to Assyria. These people gradually assimilated with the Assyrian inhabitants. In 605 BC, the Babylonian king conquered the southern Hebrew kingdom, which was a vassal state of the Assyrian Empire, and deported over 10,000 southern Hebrews to Babylon. Subsequently, the Hebrew kingdom was completely destroyed, marking the first major diaspora of the Jewish people. In 538 BC, the Persian Empire conquered the Babylonian Empire, and the Persian Emperor Cyrus allowed the exiled Jews to return to Canaan, supporting them in building the Second Temple in Jerusalem. In 331 BC, Alexander the Great overthrew the Persian Empire, establishing the Hellenistic Empire. For the next 170 years, Jewish people in Palestine lived under Greek rule and mingled with the Hellenistic population. This marked the second major diaspora in Jewish history. In 167 BC, the Palestinian Jewish people launched a major national uprising. In 142 BC, they established the Hasmonean kingdom with Jerusalem as its capital. However, in 64 BC, the Roman Empire extinguished this kingdom. In 135 BC, the Roman Emperor Hadrian ordered the complete destruction of Jerusalem and prohibited Jewish settlement in Palestine. This marked the third major diaspora for the Jewish people, ending their history of settling in Palestine. The Jewish nation left its homeland, beginning a global exile that would last for over 1,800 years. The above was our explanation of the first key content. Next, let's discuss the road to the rebirth of Jewish civilization, which is the second key point in the history of Jewish civilization. First, the Enlightenment movement provided the initial spark for Jewish thought. After the outbreak of the French Revolution in 1789, the French National Assembly granted Jews civil rights and, through legislation, explicitly recognized the legal equality of Judaism and other religions. Other European countries followed suit in liberating their Jewish populations. The birthplace of the Jewish Enlightenment movement was Berlin, Germany, with the renowned Jewish philosopher Moses Mendelssohn, often called the Plato of Germany and the Socrates of the Jews. Mendelssohn believed that Jews needed to free their minds, improve the rabbinical education system, strive to acquire knowledge in science and culture, integrate into mainstream society, and adapt to the emerging bourgeois civilization. To achieve this goal, he first demanded that German Jews learn the German language. After years of effort, he eventually translated the 5 books of Moses into German. Once this book was published, young German Jews enthusiastically read it, greatly enhancing their mastery of the German language. This reform sparked an internal debate within the Jewish community, promoting intellectual liberation. The Enlightenment movement quickly spread from Germany to all of Europe and even had a significant impact in the backward regions of Russia and Eastern Europe. After the 1861 reform of serfdom in Russia, the Haskalah movement developed into a nationwide movement, with some reformists emigrating to North America, contributing to the formation of North American Jewish culture. Political Zionism directly drove the Jewish quest for national restoration. It's important to note that political Zionism has no relation to the Chinese city of Xi'an. The Enlightenment movement did not alter the status of the Jewish people, and anti-Semitism in Europe resurged. Meanwhile, capitalism was rapidly developing in Europe, creating a Jewish capitalist class whose economic power grew quickly. By the 19th century, the Rothschild family had already established a vast financial empire in Europe. Apart from the Rothschild family, other Jewish families became financial dynasties, controlling the economic lifelines of European nations. Simultaneously, some Jews entered the political arena, such as holding positions in the British Parliament as prime ministers, elevating the social status of the Jewish bourgeoisie. However, they gradually grew dissatisfied with their discriminated status. They believed that the Enlightenment movement could not address the fundamental problem and that a political solution was necessary, the rebuilding of a Jewish state to revive the Jewish nation, thus providing a permanent solution to the Jewish question. This is what political Zionism stands for. 3 key figures contributed significantly to the formation of political Zionism. The first to introduce the theory of returning to their homeland from a political perspective was the Jewish thinker Moses Hess. In 1862, he first put forth a series of political Zionist theories, asserting that the core of the Jewish problem was homelessness. To escape the attacks of their tormentors, the only solution was to return to their homeland. This could not rely on the power of a Messiah but rather required political means. Leon Pinsker was the second key figure in Russian political Zionism. In 1882, he argued that Jews without a homeland were not guests but beggars. Once economically successful, they would provoke envy in their host countries. The solution to the Jewish question could not rely on the benevolent emancipation of other nations, but on restoring their own national homeland. Jews should show self-initiative and not wait passively for the mercy and charity of other European countries, but take immediate action for self-salvation. Pinsker also presented a concrete plan for returning, advocating for a national convention of Russian Jewish societies to discuss the purchase of land where 1 million Jews could settle. Lastly, Theodor Herzl was the most comprehensive in outlining political Zionism. Originally a lawyer who lost his clients due to the return to homeland sentiment, he transitioned into journalism. He meticulously examined the Jewish issue and realized that the only way for Jews to escape their plight was to return collectively to their own state. Herzl believed the optimal location for the return was Palestine or Argentina. He outlined the specific steps to establish a Jewish state, including founding the Jewish Association and the Jewish Company, with one responsible for political organization and the other for economic affairs. On August 29, 1897, thanks to Herzl's efforts, the First World Zionist Congress opened in Basel, Switzerland. The Congress adopted the Basel Program, a key document for the Zionist movement which aimed to establish a legally guaranteed homeland for the Jewish people in Palestine through political Zionism. Following the Congress, Zionist organizations operated globally, raising funds and expanding their ranks, and organizing European Jews in batches to emigrate to Palestine. However, this political movement struggled for international recognition until, in 1917, British Foreign Secretary Arthur Balfour issued the famous Balfour Declaration, declaring support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. Subsequently, other countries, including the United States, France, and Italy, expressed their recognition. From the Balfour Declaration in 1917 to the outbreak of World War II in 1939, the Jewish population in Palestine grew from 23,000 to 450,000, laying the demographic foundation for establishing a national homeland. Jewish people also purchased significant amounts of land, acquiring it from Arab landowners for Jewish settlement. In 1948, after 2,000 years of wandering, the Jewish people rebuilt their own state in Palestine, Israel. Since the founding of Israel in 1948, Jewish civilization has experienced rapid growth. From 1948 to the present day, the people of Israel have achieved a remarkable development miracle, drawing worldwide attention through their intelligence and hard work. They have transformed a small, impoverished nation into one of the world's most developed countries. As of 2015, Israel's GDP has grown from $200 million to $250 billion, with a per capita GDP exceeding $34,000, ranking among the world's leading nations. In Israel's developmental journey, the melting pot effect and the science, education, and defense strategy have played pivotal roles. The melting pot effect refers to Israel's role as an immigrant nation that has welcomed migrants from various countries and ethnicities, including those from Russia, Spain, Western Asia, North Africa, and even black immigrants from Ethiopia. Israel is also a multi-ethnic country, and this cultural diversity has fostered social innovation and development. The science, education, and defense strategy emphasize the development of technology, education, and the military, making Israel a pioneer in technological innovation and nurturing many outstanding scientists and engineers, thereby ensuring the nation's security and prosperity. In summary, the road to the revival of Jewish civilization has traversed significant phases, including the Enlightenment movement and political Zionism. Through intellectual liberation, political means, and concerted efforts, the Jewish people ultimately established their own nation, Israel, in Palestine, achieving remarkable milestones in its development. In addition to Jewish residents, Israel is home to people from diverse backgrounds, including Arabs, Druze, and others, each with distinct historical traditions, languages, and religious customs. The challenge of constructing a mainstream culture that encourages ethnic integration is of great importance. In addressing this challenge, Israel places an emphasis on the continuity and shared aspects of culture. It has built an Israeli cultural system rooted in Jewish values, promoting integration among various ethnic, religious, and resident communities. This is what's known as the melting pot effect. The Israeli government promotes Hebrew and implements a bilingual policy, recognizing Arabic and Hebrew as official languages with equal status, aiming to accommodate the needs of various groups. Interestingly, Israel celebrates 365 holidays each year to honor the diverse holiday traditions of its various ethnic and religious immigrant communities. Besides the melting pot effect, Israel has also implemented a science, education, and defense strategy. Israel's founding Prime Minister, David Ben-Gurion, once famously described Jewish history as quality over quantity. The core of the science, education, and defense strategy is the development of technology, education, and the military, making Israel a pioneer in technological innovation and nurturing many excellent scientists and engineers, ensuring the nation's security and prosperity. In summary, the road to the revival of Jewish civilization has seen important stages, including the Enlightenment movement and political Zionism. Israel, through the melting pot effect and the science, education, and defense strategy, has promoted ethnic integration and cultural development. Shared beliefs and values rooted in Jewish faith, as well as the construction of the Israeli cultural system, have fostered integration among different ethnic and religious groups. Unique aspects of Jewish culture, such as the Talmud, Sephardic culture, and diaspora culture, have been preserved and developed, showcasing the distinct charm of Jewish civilization. And there you have it, friends. This concludes the summary of the book. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and share it with your friends. Also, remember to click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you won't miss any future videos. Until next time,